Hi, everybody. Long time no see. Kate, how you doing today?
Hi, super. It's good to be here. This weekend, I dressed up as a rodent of unusual size, and I must say, it was more comfortable than this, but this is more fabulous, obviously.
Obviously, clearly. Well, yeah. This is about as fabulous as I've looked in 22 months. So.
You look great.
And it still fit, which is the major miracle. So, last demo of the day, last live demo of the day. We've gone through Interfirm. We showed you the exciting work that we're doing with Cloud9 and with StreetLinks. We've talked about our wealth space, where we highlighted, obviously, our integrations with WhatsApp and chat platforms, but obviously our new Zoom integration. Now we're going to talk more operations. And for us, and no one, I don't think, in this room is going to disagree with this, this is probably the most underserved of all of these markets. It's the space in a bank or even in a small fund where they're behind on the digital transformation. And they're the ones that are trying to catch up and trying to harness some of these new technologies. And we're not there yet. And we're trying to very much help them do that. So for us, as we think about everything we've talked about so far today in terms of connecting workflows, connecting systems, connecting people, connecting data, this is at the heart of what operations professionals do all day, every day. So we're really excited to be able to help them do this and help drive that workflow into the sort of the next era. But Kate's the real expert here, so I'm going to hand it over to Kate to talk us a little more about what we're working on.
Awesome,
Kate?
Thank you. It's been quite a year. I'm sure you feel the same. What I've really enjoyed is working with you, our customers and our partners. We've brought to life our operations strategy and have some really tangible innovations to show you today. This past year has led us to 5 operations focus areas. The first is client onboarding, which is near and dear to my heart. The second is security settlements. So think CSDR and accelerated settlement cycle. The third is security services with focus on corporate actions and NAV oversight. Loans, what a behemoth. And of course, tying it all together is identity and authentication of people, bots, and applications. It's such a key industry problem, and we are tackling it at Symphony through our enhanced directory and acquisition of StreetLinks. And this is just the beginning. Before we go into the demos, I'd like to touch on a few things. As you know, operations is one of the most fundamentally important parts of a financial institution's structure. Aside from you moneymakers, of course, we are money savers. And due to the lack of allocated budgets for deep digital transformation, these critical roles face 3 main challenges. 1, they work in siloed and disparate systems. 2, pre- and post-trade transaction processes are fragmented. And 3, they lack consistent or have multiple communication methods. Historically, operations stakeholders used various systems to stitch together entity and transaction data required for these processes. And when a problem arises, what does one do? They send an email, they pick up the phone. Some of us even still use faxes.
For the millennials in the audience, I just have to take a moment. A fax you put a paper in over here, and it gets to me over there.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. That's good. That's good.
Here all day, literally.
And whatever the method, you then wait hours for resolution while our peers in the front office chase us down for updates. And because of these challenges, we've seen some really great innovations come through the pipe. Some of these innovative tech companies are actually our newest partners, and you would have seen them in recent press announcements, including Sapphire, AccessFintech, and Uncork. Themes these partners centered around are democratizing data for quicker onboarding and then using that data across the lifecycle. AccessFintech built a distributed network to allow the 3 participants in a transaction to communicate more effectively with one view of data. And our latest partner, which you would have seen the announcement last week, enables the digitization of missing layers in workflows And this brings down siloed barriers for process improvement by replacing traditional development methods. And at Symphony, we remove friction across the life cycle, whether it's up front, in the middle, or at the end.
Awesome. So as we go into the demo portion, everything that you're going to see today, well, actually, take that back. One of the core capabilities of what you're going to see today is powered by what we call the Secure Event Service, or SES, because the world needed more acronyms. But the Secure Event Service is what enables us to help our partners and our customers inject content or data into a Symphony context, i.e. a room, a chat, and bring in the right people to solve or discuss around that problem. So it's really what I like to call it's almost like an orchestration layer that allows our platform partners to pull in their customer, another customer around a trade break, a new issue, a piece of research, whatever it might be, but we can orchestrate these workflows so that we can connect the digitalized processes, the automated processes, into the human component, whether that's escalation, collaboration, ideation, whatever that might be. Really enabling that cross-platform interop, which we talked a lot about today, with the key thing for us is the customer retains that control and is able to, in the end, pull that trigger when they need to have that moment. So with that being said, I'm going to get off for a few minutes and let Kate bring on our partner and our customer to talk a little bit more about this.
Thank you.
I'll be back.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Please join me in welcoming Adam Watson, Global Custody Product Management at BNY Mellon, and Damian Canning, EVP Industry Relations, AccessFintech. Our three organizations are a perfect example of interoperability. Three firms bringing together our unique assets to be interoperable for the benefit of our mutual customers, who are custodians, buy-sides, and sell-sides. And as Adam likes to say, three legs of a stool, because two legs of a stool wobble.
Hey, come on.
Come on, you got to get it right.
Three legs
How many times have
never
we rehearsed
wobble.
this?
I can't get it right, but that's why you're here. How did I do?
My grandfather was a carpenter for 35 years, and he once told me, Adam, a three-legged stool never falls over because it never wobbles, but a two-legged stool will always fall over. And I've told Kate that probably 15 times, and every time she gets it wrong.
It's not sticking. Well, it's great to have you guys here. Damo, tell us a bit about what AccessFintech does, why it was built, and what it solves.
I think you just did it. It was a great job.
Thank you.
AccessFintech really has become, over the last 5 years, a Synergy Network, as it's now known, has really become the industry data lake for exceptions. We managed to normalize and publish exceptions to our data lake, which then our clients, which are prime brokers, custodians, executing brokers, can then interact with and build standardized workflows to solve those problems and collaborate between them. And working with Synergy, we've really brought those two networks together to enable self-service and collaboration, which is what we're here today to talk about.
Thank you. Adam, we've been working together for a while now and share a lot of dreams and aspirations, one of which is to bring the industry together to create a channel for real-time collaboration using golden source data. Give us some insights on BNY Mellon's vision for innovation in the operational space.
Sure. Firstly, I think it's important to acknowledge when you blend matching cultures together that have a desire to innovate. I think that's hugely powerful. And when I think of the Bank of New York strategy around creating that concept of a digital ecosystem, it is really one of a strategy of kind of internal collaboration and innovation where it makes sense, and then external collaboration and innovation where it kind of adds value both to ourselves and our clients. And I think, obviously, this includes both of your organizations, and we've spoken about this a number of times, right? And you always get the analogy wrong, but when you think about a three-legged stool and using and leveraging the likes of AccessFintech and Symphony as kind of the base to that stool, but bringing together your buy side, your sell side, your middle office custodian together and giving that kind of stability in data, I think is hugely powerful. And then obviously where we can take that is greatly important. So what we're about to see and what we're going to demo on is really that kind of isolation of exceptions and removing the time latency and how long it takes for a buy side client or a sell side client to get to a point where they're already communicating about that exception and the resolution of that exception. So really isolating super fast and going from there.
Awesome. I can't be good at everything, so I'll give you that analogy. Okay, so why don't we not drag this out anymore and get into the demo? So if Levon, would you mind pulling up the AccessFintech screen? Awesome, here it is.
Thanks, Levon. What you can see here is you can see a centralized UI where we would provide exceptions that are coming from custodians, from buy sides, from sell sides into a single place. And you would have that as a UI here.
And so in this, just to clarify for the audience, in this instance, we're acting as the buy-side client in this kind of ecosystem, so to give context.
Okay, Levon, you ready?
Levon is our beautiful assistant.
It's his big moment. What should we do? Should we pick out CSDR? That's really relevant and topical. Let's open up that the exception. And you'll see here, you'll be presented with all the exceptions, and then the danger zone is the top right-hand corner. So why don't we pick one of the risky ones and open up a Symphony chat?
You mentioned risk, which I think is an important word, right? When you take the AccessFintech technology and kind of the pairing and exception isolation concept to fruition, what you get then is you get the ability through obviously what these guys do is to take that CSDR penalty and calculate a potential impact, and then that allows you, to Damian's point of risk, is to isolate the transactions that are particularly risky versus other transactions that might be failing.
So once an issue is discovered, what analysts do now is going to happen in real time. They would usually pick up the phone or send an email. But what we've done here is given the user the ability to spin up a chat room. The exception details are brought in automatically, and the partner is connected to the Symphony enhanced directory, so you don't need to go and find who the user is. It comes in automatically. Exception details don't have to be put in manually, and you can start typing to resolve the incident. So you're creating transparency. There's no manual keying. It's all literally just time saving. So you see now the team is interacting and they're going back and forth.
So I think one of the benefits that we've got here, right, is, you know, to tap onto what Mike said earlier about faxes. I always use stats with clients that the fax technology was invented in 1843 and we're still using it today. And when I think of a second technology that we're kind of using today in a different format is the Rolodex, right? And the Rolodex was first sold in 1956, and we've replaced them from our desks. But in reality, on an operational perspective, and having grown up in operations, when a trade fail happens, sometimes there is that default to individual people or to group inboxes, and that adds latency and a time delay in getting to a point where you're actually talking about the resolution of those exceptions versus just trying to figure out where the right place to go is. So what Levon's showing you now is that functionality through the grouping of saying, okay, so we do the pair, or AccessFintech does that pairing technology in the AccessFintech environment, and then allows that operational user on the buy side in this example to understand who is the right person to communicate those exceptions with and get to a point where they're talking about resolution much faster than historically we've seen through emails and phone conversations. Yeah,
exactly. And I think, we can talk about CSDR, but the audit trail that you can now have is hugely important, right?
Yeah.
If you're going from phones to emails and name it faxes, it's difficult to have an audit trail. So having a centralized place.
I think what's important here for me, speaking selfishly as the custodial side, right, is in this example, we've got a buy-side client talking with a sell-side to understand the exception, the resolution, but that's at day one, right? Through the SES technology, how we can start to interoperate between bilateral conversations or create multilateral conversations in Symphony. Not only does it allow us to talk about the exceptions and ultimately what's going to resolve those exceptions, but fundamentally it gets us to a point where we're starting to connect sub-custodians, securities depositories, lending agents. There's all kinds of participants that we can connect through the SES technology that Symphony's got to really, back to my original point, is create this digital ecosystem that allows kind of democratization of data, and we're going to talk about this in the panel in a bit, but allows us to get to a point where we're not focusing on where the exception is in the process, but we're talking about the resolution of the exception and instruction of that resolution, and then ultimately we're getting to a point of settlement finality, and obviously all the benefits that come with that from an operational perspective.
And as you can see on the screen, the team has resolved this issue in real time. And so exactly what you said, Adam, Secure Event Service is a gateway for channel communication across partners and customers. The overlay of this is our enhanced directory with the ability to find the right group to speak with in real time. all Symphony partners and customers can access SES and our enhanced directory, and we will continue to expand these capabilities with our customers and our partners using more complex use cases. This, you saw, was a bilateral room, but the goal is to continue to expand and add additional layers. And for BNY Mellon and AccessFintech, our missions and visions are aligned with you.
And metaphors.
Yeah, and jokes.
And exactly. We laugh a lot. We did great here, by the way. We didn't mess up at all.
You put two Brits on a stage. That's a dangerous position to be in.
The tall one's behind me.
Yeah. Good looking in the tall one.
Cheers for being interoperable, and I'm going to fist pump you
Thank you.
off the stage.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice to be here.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Everyone, thanks.